does it just mean for you to see Jayla kind of step in with Jen out and take on those bigger roles and just kind of give you that spark? I know we talk about her a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been great, and we need it. So even the other night, she came out, and I think she had the first 5 points of the game, and just the confidence she's playing with, the aggressiveness she's playing with. She's not hesitating. Early in the season, my whole thing was I was just yelling at her to take more shots, and now she's taking the shots that she should take. She's getting to the rim, and her defense has been really solid. So she's been huge for us the last few games.
What's been the key to preserving or maybe helping grow that confidence through the course of the season with her?
I think a lot of it is just through experience too, and experience in how we play, and her understanding my expectations on both ends of the floor, offensively, defensively. And now that she's starting to understand that, she's I have confidence in her, she has confidence in herself, and I just continued the whole season too to I said I was the first one, shoot it. If you're open, shoot it, don't over penetrate, be the aggressor. So I think she's just starting to get into a comfort level, and sometimes that takes time. Some people it takes a little bit longer than others.
When you kind of look at the position where you're at in the standings of the Big Ten, I mean, how much do you kind of look at that over the next couple of games and where you're at and where you might be going for the Big Ten tournament?
Right now it's still a focus of, we know kind of where we're going to be in that span. It's just we gotta take one game at a time, and in these last 2 games, every game in this league is so hard. So our focus right now is tomorrow in Nebraska, and then I think after tomorrow you'll kind of have a better feel, even with everyone kind of going into one last game of exactly where we're at, because there's still a lot of it's one game here or there, and then like Purdue still, I don't know if they're making up that Michigan State game or not, because that could come into play, because it's kind of us and Purdue, battling for that one, spot here or there.
20 wins is a milestone, a winning season in the Big Ten, with the record already clinched. Is there a stop and smell the roses moment with any of that, or keep going?
Yeah, you got to keep going. We were happy we won the game the other night. I'm happy we win, and that win, just happened to be 20. But it doesn't matter. We gotta keep on going, and we're still playing for so much. We have a lot of goals still that are out there that we want to achieve this season. So there'll be time to sit back and reflect. But right now, it's really hard to reflect on much. It's okay, how are we preparing for the next day? How are we preparing for the next game?
Adelia told us that Teresa Grant's talking to the team, and she said Teresa's like a twin of yours, except for an age gap. Do you see any of what she communicates to the team and what you try to communicate?
It was kind of funny because some of the things, and we talked obviously, but I didn't tell her what to say or anything. But her message to them was a lot of similarities of the what I preach, and some of the same concepts and core values. And I just think her intensity, her passion are similar. We probably have a different way of going about it, but a lot of the same messages she was sending, I'm like, oh, that was perfect, because that's what I've been trying to tell them forever, and it's nice to have it coming from someone else, and a Hall of Famer at that.
Yeah, and then they listen, right, to her.
Yeah.
Like, I've been saying that, right?
It's like parents, right?
Yeah.
It's like, your parents tell you something and you kind of tune them out, and then someone else says the same thing, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, well, I've been telling you that forever. So, but no, it was so great to have her and just have her here for the weekend, and for our kids, our kids that, it's been a while, right? They probably didn't know really who she was until, we talked about her and I gave them information on her, and they need to understand the history of Illinois women's basketball and the history of women's basketball in general, because she's really a pioneer in women's basketball, not just here at Illinois.
These last couple of games, just the 3-point shots and them going down, what have you kind of seen with your team the last 3 games, and finally kind of seeing things kind of go right for you on the 3-point shots?
It sounds so simple and kind of stupid. They're going in like they're the same shots. You guys have heard me talk a lot. That Purdue game, I hated our shots. I didn't think we were taking good shots, and we weren't making them, but they weren't good shots. And then really since then, I thought all of our shots were shots in rhythm. They were shots out of our offense. They were shots we take every day, shots that we practice every day. They weren't going in. And now the last few games, they saw some of those go in, and all that is confidence. It's technique, but more importantly, it's confidence. And we're getting good shots. They see 1 or 2 go in. Now that confidence is there. So when they shoot the other ones, they believe it's going in.
And then what does that kind of do to other teams when they're trying to face you? I mean, I know they've a lot of teams have packed it in with a zone, but when you're hitting those shots, what does it kind of force the other team to do?
You know, you gotta play us honest. If we're hitting from outside, you know, we're hard to guard. When we're not, just like any team, then you can pack it in, you can zone us, or you could just sag in, you know, in man-to-man. And it's the same thing, you know, as approaching and preparing for Nebraska. Every single person on their team can shoot the three. You know, it's similar to Iowa and some of these other teams we face. So it's hard because now you spread them out. We can't pack in, we can't, you know, double as much. And that's same for us. So the more we can score at all three levels, the harder we are to guard, and therefore, you know, probably the more success we're going to have.
What are the challenges for seeing the team the second time in 2 weeks, or what can you take away from that first one?
You know, obviously that was that game that Jen went down, and we just played with just grit and toughness. It wasn't perfect. We went on that big run, you know, into the very end of the third, into the fourth, and really, you know, just went on a 20-0 run in pretty much the fourth quarter. So there's a lot of things that I know, and we're going to do differently, tweak some things defensively, some things we learned offensively of, you know, how they guarded us. You know, they put, you know, on Dell, they put one of their, whoever was guarding her, they just sat her in the lane to try to muck up the paint more. So again, when we're hitting shots, it's different because they can't do that stuff. So they're really going to try to keep us out of the paint. And against a team like Nebraska, how they defend, you got to hit some threes, and we did not shoot it well at their place from three.
It seems like when she's hitting, when Delia's hitting that mid-range, like that changes. Oh, beyond the three-point, it seems like that changes a lot for what you guys can do.
100%. You're so right. And she hit some of those in Nebraska, a couple of them. But yeah, when she's hitting, you know, her pull-up and 15-foot jump shot, for her and for us, it's almost like a three, because now they got to extend out and they got to guard her honest. And Nebraska's a team that's going to give us those jump shots. They're going to give you some elbow jump shots, Big Ten logo jump shots. We got to make some of them, you know, because it's not going to be like we can get to the rim every single time. So that's a shot that we practice a lot. It's a shot we actually shoot at a high percentage. We got to make some tomorrow.
That team you kind of saw in the second half of Nebraska, has that kind of carried through the last couple of games, and what's that kind of look like for you guys?
You know, I really think it has, and I think if you guys have seen that, you've probably seen a little bit more. We just have a little bit more pop to us, a little bit more energy, a little, you know, I don't know what that 2-3 week, you know, luckily we still won some games in there, but we just kind of went through like a little lull. Offensively, I just thought, you know, run down, whatever it was, no excuses. I just didn't think we were our same, you know, energized and toughness and kind of all those things that really I want our identity to be. And I think you've seen that the last, you know, since that second half in Nebraska, even in Maryland, you know, even in a loss, like we played well. And from then, so I just think it's, you know, we kind of got to, you know, whatever you want to call your mojo, you know, your confidence, got a little swag back, got some energy to us. And again, going into late February, going into March, you have to have that or you're not going to win games.
Do you mind talking a little bit about just your seniors with the game senior night?
Yeah, you know, we're honoring Gio and Jada, and obviously Gio, this was her 5th year, and you know, when she wanted to come back, and I wanted her to come back, just because I wanted that presence of, you know, someone that's been here for a while, and I love her energy, I love, you know, her positivity, just the vibes that she's brought to us, and how hard she's worked. You know, she doesn't play a ton of minutes, but she's a huge piece of this team in terms of just, again, how she brings it every day and in her positivity and her energy. I mean, she's the loudest one out there. She knows everything going on in the scout, and she really prepares us at a high level and has some really big moments this year. And then Jada, you know, Jada still has another year, but we're honoring her, you know, tomorrow. And she, you know, I can't say enough about her as well. She's one that was in the portal when I got here. And, you know, I really wanted her to stay and be a part of this program, and her belief in the program, her belief in our system, you know, coming off the bench. I mean, she started last year, so that's the selfless, you know, for her to do that shows the type of person she is, the character of her. And if you look at, you know, a lot of games, she's been a huge piece, and whether she's making shots or not, her defense has been really, really good all year, and she's just been a constant for us. And her leadership, she's been in this league, she understands this league, and I've really leaned on her a lot for that leadership throughout the year. So it's going to be a great night to honor those two, and hopefully we have a great crowd, and we're definitely going to, you know, miss them both because they've been huge for our program all year.
Just to follow up, since it is the world of the portal, do you have conversations with kids now about their future, whether they're graduating or not, or do you tell them wait till after the season? I can't imagine their mind doesn't go there right now. Not to suggest they're all thinking of leaving or something.
Yeah.
It's just it's the reality of the world.
I mean, my approach, I guess every coach probably does it different, but right now we're so focused on the season. I mean, we'll deal with that stuff, you know, when the season's done. And I would hope that our team is locked in and it's, you know, we're still playing for something. We're still playing for an NCAA tournament. Like, we got a lot out there. So hopefully their mind's on this season, but then we'll tackle all that and deal with all that stuff when this season ends.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.